When you think of the most popular sets from Scarlet and Violet, what sets come to mind? 151 and Paladin Fates are definitely standouts, and while Prismatic Evolution has had a crazy release, the art from that set is supreme. What is shared between all these sets are that they are specialty sets. However, one specialty set is missing from this list. In this video, I'll be going over Shrouded Fable, showing off the awesome cards in the set just to prove how, in many ways, this set was slept on and is underrated. Hey, my name is Collections, I'm Sean and I collect things, and this is my channel where I talk about the Pokemon card hobby, give advice, and open packs. If this is the first video you've seen from me, thank you so much for clicking on this video, and I really hope you stick around. And if you are a returning viewer, I really appreciate the continued support. If content that helps you collect is what you enjoy, make sure you give the channel a subscription, as I'm trying to make content almost daily to help y'all out in these crazy times. Okay, let's get started. Before I even go over the set list and everything, just want to give some history on Shrouded Fable if you weren't here for the release. Shrouded Fable was our third specialty set after Paladin Fates, 151, and then Shrouded Fable. It came out in August 2nd of 2024, so relatively new set. The main focus of this set was the Loyal 3 and Petulant. So if you played the Scarlet and Violet DLC, the Teal Mask DLC, you'll remember these as like the evil trio that was trying to fight Ogrepon. But yeah, there's pretty cool cards in this set. The arts are pretty good, and there's one card that is super competitively viable, which we'll go over when we look at the set list, which is Pheasantipity, kind of owing to why it's so much more expensive than the others. But yeah, so that's like a little bit of history on this set. It hasn't been out for that long. Sorry, it's August 2nd, but I think the ETBs came out later due to printing issues. So the first thing that released were these insane boxes. The boxes were super cool. They had really cool promos, and we'll definitely take a look at them as we look at the set list. But yeah, let's get started. So the first thing I want to show is just like prices on these ETBs to kind of show how over the last month, I think the sentiment has slowly changed a little bit, or it might just be a supply and demand issue where other sets are out, so people just want something. But as you can see, for the longest time, the set was super cheap, $30 for an ETB, which has not happened in a while. But now it's like $50, so you can see that even still, it's not like the most popular set. And part of that, I think, goes to the fact that even though there are really good arts, the hit rates are pretty bad, because it's like one of the later set hit rates on the illustration rares. And although they are really great, there are better things to pick up in my opinion. So let's take a look at this Greninja EX box, and this thing has been doing insane numbers. So as you can see from the charts, for the longest time, I think people just did not want Shrouded Fable, even with the Greninja promo. Let me pull up the promo just so we can take a look. Greninja EX promo. Let's do this in Pokemon Wide. Right here. As you can see, the price has drastically increased over the last month, starting from $10 for like the longest time. This is when like this set first came out. I got one box of this and one box of the Kingdra. As you can see, it has recently peaked at $40, which is crazy, but for the art itself, it's really good. And people were saying that this should have been like the chase card for that set, which in many ways I kind of do agree with. But moving it to a promo was nice because it meant that everyone would get the chance to get it. And so the counterpart to that box was the Kingdra EX. Kingdra EX in Pokemon. Let's take a look at this one too. I think this one between the two is my favorite, just because it's so great. Just awesome art. It's just like very like Japanese inspired and everything. I don't know, Kingdra line is just super like one of my favorites, to be honest. Horsey's great, and you can see cards doing very similar things in prices with the Greninja EX box. So that's like some of the big products. The other product you want to look at is the King Gambit one and the Pokemon Center ETB. They also have mini tints, but because this was a specialty set, as you know with Prismatic Evolutions, 151, there are no booster boxes. The closest thing we get to a booster box are the booster bundles, which you can see here, are also pretty cheap, $30. Again, for the longest time, pretty cheap set. The other thing is the Pokemon Center ETB, and even though it has like the special promo Petulant, I don't think that card itself is doing like really crazy numbers. So the Pokemon Center ETB, while a little bit pricey, it's like $10 more than what you would have paid if you bought it for MSRP at the Pokemon Center. So let me pull that up also just so I can show it off. Petulant. Pokemon. Oh, here we go. As you can see, we don't care about damage. We want normal. Okay, I guess there's something worth the listings. $20. That's good. At that point you're paying $20, right? More than a regular ETB just to get 2 extra packs. So Potato, if you want it, I think it might still be on the Pokemon Center website. Let me just check. It's Shrouded Fable TV. Yeah, you still pick it up, so no need to buy it off a TCG player. But that's like, in terms of product, the ones I wanted to point out. Yeah. Oh yeah, sorry, there's one more. The King Gambit box. I don't see the King Gambit here. It's the King Gambit. King Gambit's a special evolution for the Bishop line. If you haven't played, okay, so this is the art from Scarlet and Violet base, but they got a new art for this promo. And this card, this art is also so great. The whole set of promos for this set were, just peak Pokemon art. I don't know. And you see, your mint cards also got up under $1 for the longest time, so you could just pick up a bunch, and if you held them, now they're $4. I think that's more accurate for an illustration rare. I think a lot of illustration rares are trending to that $4 mark with the way the market's going. Okay, so now that we've taken a look at product, we took a look at the promos. Let me close out these extra tabs you don't need. We can take a look at the cards. So I think the ones that people really want to see are just the illustration rares and the special illustration rares, but the one I do want to point out separately is this Earthen Vessel. If you're wondering why this item card is so expensive, the reason is because in the trading card game itself, this is a super good trainer item. Trainer item, same thing. Because the way it works is you discard a card and get to get 2 energies. A lot of decks need energies, need ways to search them out, and it's just a really good way of like thinning your deck out of stuff you don't need. When you draw cards, you have a higher chance of drawing good cards. So this card, super great for a competitive standpoint, and that's kind of what's driving the price. A lot of the items, it's usually because of competitive play. And the other competitive card I want to point out, just because it's not an illustration rare or a special illustration rare, but it is doing over $10, Pheasantipity EX. You need this card just because it's a really good card in the set. Essentially why? It's because when you have a Pokemon get knocked out in your active spot, you get to draw 3 cards, and card advantage in any card game is really great. So that's kind of why this price is really good. It was reprinted in the Japanese Terrestrial Festival, and I'm very sad it was not reprinted in our English version because I wanted one, but I didn't want to pay $8. Which I think, $11. But I think I might just have to do it to build a couple of the decks I want. But now that we've taken a look at those, let's start with the illustration rares, because I think that is what really stands out for this set. So I just open them all up, and we can take a look. So I think when it comes to illustration rares, they're pretty awesome. They've been doing a little bit of a funky thing over the last probably like week and a half. When the set, even when the set first came out, this Persian was already like kind of doing numbers, right? As you can see, it never really dipped below $20 because I think the hit rates were pretty bad and people just weren't opening a lot because there wasn't like a big chase for this set, right? But essentially that made it so that this Persian has just gone up a lot because the supply isn't there to meet the demand and people are just seeing the price and trying to sell off. You can see $80, it's kind of crazy that an illustration rare is doing this much money. And I think part of the reason why people really like this card is because if you take a look at the Giovanni, if I can spell him right, Charisma, I believe it's this one. Yes, it's Persian and Giovanni chilling in a chair, and I think this art here really evokes the same sort of vibes, and I think people really like that art, so I'm not surprised this card has done this amount of growth. I assumed it would have stopped at 50, but going to 70 is really insane to me. But remember, don't discount Gen 1 Pokemon, because Gen 1 fans are very strong, and they are willing to spend their money. Next one is Houndoom. I think between the two, Houndoom is my favorite, just because it's so, he just looks so strong, again. But Houndoom is, I think, out of Gen 2, one of my favorites, so I actually just recently picked one up, PSA 9 for $50 on eBay. I kind of just bit the bullet. I'm not sure if the price will stand that long, but getting it graded, it's like $15 to grade a card anyway, so I kind of factored that in. It's like a 9, so it's like not the best condition, but still pretty good for my personal collection, so no problems there. But yeah, this art, super great. I'm not sure if I would buy a raw copy right now for $50. As you can see, for a while, just like the Persian, these two were doing like pretty similar things. $20, it's gone up to $50 now, so a bit of a pricey card, but if you like the art, I don't know, this art's peak art, I think. One of the best arts from this Scarlet and Violet era. The next one is Duskull. Well, let me group these three because they actually are done by the same artist, so you can kind of see like this picture of this Duskull. Not in the exact same frames, right? You can see it's like a different background, but it's like the evolution of a Duskull line, kind of watching after you, getting ready to curse you. And the ability itself is pretty cool. Curse Blast. Part of the reason why this card is so expensive is because, well, Duskull, I think, is cool, but also because the original price essentially was because it's playable. Because you see this ability, people really hyped on it. Being able to put ability counters, damage counters is like a huge like swing, so you can start knocking out your opponent's Pokemon. You can see this one's gone up a lot, mainly because you don't really need this Dusclops. The idea is to just get out Dusknoir, and Dusknoir is like doing pretty good pricing, to be honest. Very similar. These three together are super great as a set. I think I've pulled like 3 Dusclops, not a single Dusclop. I really want this Dusclop. I think out of the line, I think the Dusclop's my favorite, just because of the way it's like lighted behind like the shadow of everything. It's very like cartoony style, but it fits really well. The artist James Turner, I think this is like, yeah, he hasn't done many Pokemon art, but the art is like pretty good, pretty sick. So those 3 are like grouped together. This one, I'm actually like really surprised it hasn't been going faster. I think between Persian and this, I would have thought this card would have gone more, but I guess Gen 1 fans are stronger than Gen 4 fans when it comes to their wallets. But dude, this Cresselia, when I pulled it, I could not believe it, because the way it's like, it just looks so nice. I think it's like kind of tilted. You see like, well, let me turn my head. Which way is it supposed to be? Like, it looks like a mountain range on this side. But yeah, Cresselia, Gen 4, great looking card. Under $10 for the longest time. Oh man, I wish man, I don't know. The Pokemon card hobby's been exploding. Really great to have like a bunch of new people in, but it also means that prices are going to do a little crazy things for a while. But $38, $40, I mean, at the place we are right now with the Pokemon card hobby, $40 for an illustration rare isn't out of the blue. It's not like super crazy. But yeah, just be careful, because eventually when people start pulling out of the hobby, those who are just here for the money, cards are going to come crashing down. We don't know which ones will yet or how much they will be, but if you want this card a lot, if you really like the art, if it speaks to you, just pick it up now, because in case it doesn't drop and the price even goes up further, it might be a good time. But that's just my suggestion. Do a little bit of research, and maybe you guys will come to your own conclusions there. The next one is Horsey. Different art style than the Kingdra, but as you can see, there's actually not many listings left, so I think people might be buying this card out. And what I mean by that is a couple people over the last couple of weeks seem to have bought out all the supply. Which kind of goes back to the same issue I was saying earlier about Shrouded Fable, where people just weren't opening the set, cards were scarce, and prices have just been going up. But Horsey, like I mentioned in all my other videos, underwater art's perfect. Really loved this one. Zorua, that was good too. I don't think it's as good as the other cards we've looked at so far. The other ones kind of stand out a bit more to me, which might correlate to the pricing. But it's kind of cool. You can see this little detail here is that the bamboo, or not bamboo, sorry, the roof symbol is actually the darkness energy symbol from the TCG. It's very cute. Zora sleeping in the night. I picked this up for like $8, but now it's like a $20 card, which is crazy to me. And so the next cards we have, let me group these 3 because they're related. It's the Loyal 3. Oh, Fresher, you are not part of the Loyal 3. Here we go. One of these is a bit more expensive, which is Monkey Dory, and the reason being is because of its ability here. It's very good in like one of the best decks, which is Gardevoir EX, allowing you to move damage counters around. It's like huge. But I think in terms of the art itself, this one is my favorite. It kind of reminds me of like, if you watch Demon Slayer, the Wisterius trees and everything, just like very, very ethereal, very like, I don't know, I don't know the words. It's very like Japanese, like cherry blossom inspired, I think. The whole like evolution line, or not evolution, the whole trio here is very like Japanese inspired, I think, with the arts and everything, because they are based off of the story of, I forgot what it's called, the Peach Boy. I'm blanking on the Japanese myth name, but there's a Japanese myth essentially where a boy grows from a peach, and then he has like 3 companions that follow along with him. It's a dog, a monkey, and a bird, I think. Yeah, and they all like help him on his journey. So they were translated into Pecharunt, which is a Peach Boy, and then the Loyal 3, which is a really cool story, I think. I love when Pokemon does like real world mythology into their games. It's really cool. Here's Serendipity. This card's still pretty affordable, to be honest. $7. If you like the art, I know Serendipity might not be everyone's favorite, but the posing here is really nice. The composition, it looks like it's like the blazing sun, and the way that the mountains curve behind it is really nice. And then we have Okidoki. I think this is my least favorite of the 3 in terms of the arts here, just because, yeah, it is cool. It looks like he's destroying a mountain, but doesn't really speak to me. So there's those 3, and then we have a couple more left to look at. Fracture. This is, oh, actually, I never noticed there's axes in the background. I always thought these were rocks because I never got like a clear look at them, but it looks really cool. Fracture, he's chilling under a waterfall. You can see the little rainbow. And your mint is doing how much? Okay, that is not what I expected. This card has gone up a lot in price, huh? So you can see here, $9, but it looks like someone, like I was saying, did a buyout and they bought up all the copies that were under a certain price point, which is kind of crazy. So this card has gone up in price, but I think it's just kind of annoying that people can just do that, but the art is great. If it was still at $10, I would definitely suggest you guys to pick it up, but I don't think that's going to be a possibility anymore. So that's unfortunate. Next one is Beware, looking very menacingly. Does not look like a buyout has happened, luckily. If you like Beware, I think Beware is like pretty popular from the local region. So if you want this card, man, I really don't want to feed into the FOMO, but it really does seem like right now buyouts are happening. So just keep that in mind when you're looking at pricing. Next we have Qfend. It was pretty cute. It's just chilling. Like I mentioned, if you watched my video long ago, there's when I talked about the Fampi illustration rare. I think the Fampi is still my favorite, but this one is really cute. And this one's $7. It's okay pricing wise. So if you want to pick it up, last one is Tapu Bulu. Doesn't really do anything for me. Kind of ominous, but it looks okay. Okay, so those are the illustration rares, and the last thing I want to talk about, special illustration rares. So the SIRs in this set weren't like huge chases, to be honest, just because people, I think, as a whole, aren't the biggest fans of the Loyal 3 and Petulant. But let's take a look at Cassiopeia first. So there was one special illustration rare trainer, which is Cassiopeia, which is just Penny. If you've played the game, you know she used this disguise. But as you can see, when this came out, it was like the biggest chase, $120, and it has like really dropped down since that point, down to like $50. I think this is like one of the special illustration rares where I really don't expect it to go back up for a while. I think it'll pretty much stay this price because I think it's a fair price for this card. $50 is honestly what I think the max should be for a lot of these cards, but seeing them push to like 100 is crazy to me. Next one's Pheasantipity. Like I mentioned, between this one and the other Loyal 3 plus Petulant, this one's only really expensive because of its playability. I think this one does also look the best just because the colors on Pheasantipity's red and like orange wings really pops compared to like, actually this pink, purple really pops. I think between Monkey Dory, Okidoki, and Pheasantipity though, this one's like my favorite. Right, then we have Petulant, $20. It's okay for a special illustration rare. Okidoki, again $20. And then Monkey Dory, I think, is a little bit cheaper at like $15-16. But it is really interesting. I think right now with the space we're in, it seems like illustration rares of popular Pokemon are going to be the ones that you're going to see the most like growth and the most like, I don't know if it's healthy growth to be honest, or like people trying to push those cards. But there's a lot of like beautiful cards like I just showed that aren't the most expensive cards in this set. And if you want to do a little more research and look into sets, I think that's where you can find a lot of these like more hidden gems, because like we were seeing in a lot of those charts, at least the price charts, what I showed you was that this set for the longest time super undervalued. And I think that kind of just goes back to the point that when people are chasing new things or like the biggest set or the biggest hits, a lot of things just get left out because people's attentions are changed. So if you can find those older sets, you go back and collect things that you always wanted but were being priced out from, or people were just chasing it down, right? You might get the chance to pick up cards you always wanted for a much better price. And so hopefully what I showed you was that, yeah, just look back to older sets. You can pick up some great things and you don't always have to chase prismatic evolutions. But hopefully this video was helpful. It showed you some new cards from the set, maybe convinced you that Shrouded Fable isn't the worst set ever. But if you guys enjoyed this type of content, I really would appreciate it, like a comment, subscription, just so I know I'm doing great stuff and you guys really enjoy it. But that's it for this video. Hopefully I'll catch you guys around for the next one.